Hi there, I'm Will Meyrick on another podcast here. I'm here with Andrew Baba, who is a famous ramen chef from Tokyo, and I've taken him to one of my secret little hideouts that I love, and I think it's great food, which is basically paon diwaji, which is basically cooked chicken and roast duck with betutu spices. It's one of the best places I've eaten, and I'm going to take Andrew here and show him one of the secret spots, and maybe you can visit here one day afterwards as well. So, welcome to Bali, Andrew.
Thank you. It's been great so far.
So far, well, we had a big night last night.
We did.
You got a bit messy. We showed you what Bali's all about, sambar and all the rest of it.
I wasn't expecting it.
So you've never been to Bali before?
No, never at all.
So after last night, what was your thoughts of it?
I thought it was similar to Japan. So when we came here, I was very shocked because I came here like fully clothed, like I was saying, like jeans. I had a jacket on, had a jumper on underneath that. And then when we got out of the airport, it was like 30 degrees.
Super hot.
The people from Bali are amazing. Like they're so kind over here.
No, they are. They're beautiful people. Hence why I've been here 20 years and married one.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So tell me a little bit about Baba Ramen and how it's made its name for itself in Tokyo. And how you became to be and focused on ramen itself.
Baba Ramen. Baba is my name. My second name, my family name is Baba. Mm-hmm. That's why we started Baba Ramen. The reason why ramen is that, so I used to go back to Japan every single year for some holiday. And my ji-chan, my granddad in Japanese, are like, the very first thing we'll do is always get ramen. Mm-hmm. And it was becoming like a bit of an emotional thing in terms of making ramen. So when I moved here 3 years ago, the thought process was to make ramen for ji-chan. And then I kind of fell in love with the process.
Wow.
So it takes at least 2 days. And I like things that take a long time.
Yeah.
Like back in England, I used to make roast dinners because they take a long time as well. Yeah. So it was the same thing with ramen. I started making ramen and then started hosting friends. I taught my friends once. I thought it was really fun to do. And I had loads of spare time when I first moved. Because I used to work for a UK company. We started at 4 p.m.
Okay.
So I used to make ramen from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day.
Wow.
And then I'll start work at 4 p.m. till midnight and then go back to ramen.
So it's a real passion of love.
Yeah. Absolutely. Especially
so you did 2 jobs just because you loved ramen?
Yeah. For 2 years, I did those 2 shifts. So the first year, I went to ramen school. Yeah. Ramen school was, 7 a.m. till 2 p.m.
The UK?
Tokyo.
In Tokyo?
Yeah. Well, Yokohama specifically, it's next to Tokyo. And then I worked at, so I did that for 1 year. And then I worked at 2 ramen restaurants for another year. Wow. Same shifts. Yeah. So it's just, every week in an hour.
I mean, that is that typical sort of Japanese culture of dedication, strict, and focused.
It did feel very Japanese. It was the first time I felt so Japanese.
Right. And
in England, I didn't work that much.
And tell me, you are half Japanese, half Irish, is that right?
Oh, for God's sake.
Correct?
Fuck's sake, man. Stop bringing this up.
No, but you are Japanese, but you live in Japan, but your father was Irish.
Yeah. But brought up in England.
Yeah, okay, but brought up in England.
Yeah.
And when did you move to Tokyo?
Yeah, 3 years ago. So my whole life before then, I was always in England.
Yeah.
Blood-wise, I'm Irish and Japanese. Yeah. But I've never been to Ireland.
No.
So normally, I don't tell people I'm Irish. Yeah. So it's funny, you're like the few of the people that I've told I'm Irish, and you picked up on it so much. Well, that's why I'm sticking to English and Japanese.
Well, that's fine. Being a Celtic person as I am, being Scottish, I resonate with it. So in your classes, what do you find the most surprising things about your participants and engagement with the complexity of making ramen itself?
I think people don't understand how difficult ramen is. So, unlike, because in Japan, it's considered a fast food, all the prep time is before service for 2 days. So usually, you'll have 2 shops. You have your service shop, and then you have the shop where you're always making the stocks and stuff like that, and you bring it for service. So when we do the class, we show all the steps, like the breakdown of ramen, which I'll be doing with your staff later today. Yeah. And I think even after that first introductory kind of speech of 20 minutes describing what goes into ramen, all the different aspects, all the different layers, and then everyone's like, okay, there's a lot to it.
Yeah. I mean,
there's appreciation now.
You sent me through when I did the cooking class with you in Japan. And by the way, it's an amazing class. You should definitely do it when you're in Tokyo.
Thank you.
came back with a manual of like, I don't know, 16, 17 pages on how to make the process of it. It is a very complicated procedure. Do you want me to just kind of quickly run through in a short version of the steps and what types of ramen do you have?
A short version? Oh, damn. That manual, by the way, I made a new one. It's 200 pages here.
Wow.
It's for chefs who want to open a restaurant.
Yeah. Okay. And are you going to sell that, or are you going to do how to open a restaurant classes, or
the game plan? So when I first started, I was teaching chefs to open a restaurant. That was the initial one, and we'll do it over a space of a week. But it took too much time, so that's why we only do daily courses now. It's more a touristic thing. But when we open our new venues next year, we'll be doing those kind of chef courses again.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why I've redone the menu.
Wow. 200 pages.
200 pages. Yeah. That's why yours was the bare minimum.
Minimum.
Oh, you were impressed with it, but it was the bare minimum. But thank you.
Well, normally I do cooking classes and they get 5 pages and that's kind of it.
Oh, really? Fair.
It's nice to meet a chef that is being generous with their knowledge and sharing it.
Yeah. There are secret things that you have to share.
You have to share.
Yeah, you have to share.
Tell me a little bit about sort of the importance and some of the steps of how you make ramen.
So there's 5 layers. Tale directly translates to sauce. So this is like the seasoning that you get. The second one is the broth. Broth is the longest thing. Generally, that's the one that's like minimum 2 days. So you have to, like, if you're making it home, you have to cook it for every waking hour in the day. So 18 hours a day for 2 days. So 36 hours collectively. Tedious thing with tonkotsu is that every 15 minutes, you have to break down the bones to get to get the bone marrow out. So you have to do it every 15 minutes for 36 hours.
Wow.
to give you an idea. After that, it's noodles. Ramen noodles in particular, they're like alkaline noodles. It's kansui that we're talking about. Kansui is called lye powder in English. And that's very important for noodles. It's what brings that elasticity. And we don't have egg with ramen noodles, but you know that yellow color? It derives from the kansui reacting the rye, the wheat. That's what turns it a little bit yellow. After that is your toppings. Toppings is the 4th layer, but there's loads of toppings. You have your ajitama, which is your flavored eggs, char siu typically, mince, etc. Memma. Char siu is pork belly, in case no one knows about it. And the last one is aroma oil. There's hundreds of different types of aromas out there. If you're vegetarian or not, for example. The most typical one is chicken fat. I would say 70%. I would say of restaurants, ramen restaurants in Japan, we use chicken fat as their aroma oil, and that's a quick breakthrough of the 5 layers. But each single thing is a recipe. Even the lye powder, if you can't get lye powder, that's a recipe. Each thing is a recipe. That's why.
Really, really in depth. So, in a sort of competitive market that you have, what separates your ramen school to others, do you think?
Making everything from scratch, I would say. And my cooking class isn't a cooking class where it's demonstration and then the students do it. It's more working on the line. So the class is designed to 8 to 10 people. If it's not full, then they have more work to do, the students. Wow. But everyone has their own jobs to do. Everyone has their own thing that we do together. And it's a collective effort to get it done. Because if you do it as a demonstrative thing, you have to make the soup or something beforehand. So I'd say that's the biggest difference. Because everyone knows it's very hands-on. I always say it's like a work experience rather than do it like we're the head chefs. You guys are the sous chefs, for example. And I think our branding, we've done really well. Like we have merchandise.
What advice would you give to sort of home cooks worldwide who want to replicate authentic ramen but lack the access of special ingredients? So like if you're going to do a quick version of it, which being Japanese, you probably would like, no, there's only one way of doing it. But bring out the English side out of you and go, well, you're at home, you've only got 20 minutes. How do you make it? What's a
20 minutes? Oh.
Can you do that? Or you're going sacrilege? That's like eating burgers or adding, MSG or chicken powder into stuff.
I know, because I always ask customers what whether they've made ramen before. A lot of people have done like the miso version of ramen because that's easy. Just make a chicken broth or bring chicken broth, add miso to it. So if you want a really simple, quick one, that's absolutely fine.
Easiest.
But I would say to make like good quality, I would say 3 hours is the perfect amount of time because we use the pressure cooker in the class. The pressure cooker, because we use it for about half an hour. It's usually about 6 whistles. That it usually saves about 10 to 12 hours of cooking time. and then take the lid off and just boil it down as quickly as you can on the highest temperature. Like when I used to do it back in my day, back at home, like I have my 3 stovetops. I'll just have the biggest pan, put it on top of all 3 stovetops. So I have them all on full blast, for example, and just boil it down. And if you do it like that, 3 hours, and it's what we serve in class. So it's not quite restaurant quality, I would say. Yeah. But it's good quality.
It does the job,
Yeah.
I think, and anyone would be happy to have that.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing.
So Bali's sort of famous for its bold flavors. Have you tried to incorporate any of these, or will you incorporate? I know you're only here for a short time, so you're probably not going to get a whole kind of view of what Bali is. Yeah. But you reckon that, do you think that ramen dishes can be mixed up together with Southeast Asian cuisine, do you think?
Yeah, I would say so, because that's the great thing about ramen. Like, it's one of the reasons why I love ramen in Japan, because every single ramen shop doesn't have the same recipe for ramen. So absolutely, I think there's a lot of different things that you could do incorporating it. Like in the Western world, there's a lot more like they mix up the toppings a lot more. Like we were talking about duck earlier. In Japan, you don't necessarily really see duck ramen. But in the Western world, it's quite a popular thing. So I think, every single ramen can be changed. It's just depending on how you kind of want it.
So, with sort of Japanese food, I think it's interesting. You look at some of the izakayas there, or you look at some of the sort of omakase styles, and you've got your very traditional omakase, and then you've also got your sort of more modern ones. Do you think that Japan is starting to sort of merge its cuisine a little bit more than what it used to, and those sort of traditions are starting to fade? Yes, they're kept in high regard, but you think that things are sort of moving in a slightly different direction in Tokyo itself? A little bit.
Everything's changing a little bit. It's just a very slow movement when it comes to Japan. But it depends on the type of food, I would say. Yeah. Like sushi is a great example. Like I was watching a documentary about it's Gyro Dreams of Sushi. I don't know if you've seen it. And he's teaching his son how to make sushi. 1 year, he's just learning how to make rice for an entire year. He doesn't do anything other than make rice. The next year, he spends a whole year fanning the seaweed over an open flame. And he does that for a year just to get it the right amount of char, So I think, and that's each element for every single year, for example. So I'd say, it depends on the food, because that's why ramen's different from everything else. Because we don't have those strict rules. We are a lot more creative. We can it's a lot easier to put your personality into ramen rather than something like sushi. Oh, so really? I would say it depends on the food. Yeah.
But I mean, sushi also it's not traditional Japanese.
Oh?
Sushi itself. Sorry.
Is it Chinese or something?
No. But like what I mean is that it's something that's sort of really been exported. And I think I read something that it was, invented.
It's probably China, I'd imagine.
It wasn't traditional Japanese. It was out of fermented rice that was left over or whatever. And then they put the rice on there or something that I read about it.
Really?
And then now it's turned into this sort of commercial sort of Japanese export, shall I say. But if you go to really eat Japanese food, you don't really see too many sushi bars.
True.
When I go to Tokyo, I don't go and see it. And if there is, it's more kind of for tourists, to be honest.
The sushi conveyor belt.
You go to an izakaya or you go to a little hole in the wall and they'll do maybe one, and they won't even serve sushi, they'll serve sashimi. Correct or not?
Yeah, that is true.
They'll serve sashimi, and then you'll have, your skewers, or you'll have, your different types of fish that have been steamed or poached, or
small things,
small little snacks, etc. Yeah. So, I sort of look at sushi as sort of the Western take on Japanese cuisine, because for me, it's not necessarily as traditional as what you would normally have. I don't know. I mean, you've been in Japan more than I am, and you're Japanese.
I'm Japanese.
So what's your take on it?
That's a difficult one. Because now you say that, I do feel like similar with ramen, right? Ramen is Chinese originally, but everyone perceives it as Japanese. I didn't even know it wasn't Japanese until I started making it. So that makes sense, because it could be one of those things where it was probably like a bit of a waste product. And then they changed it. A different country might have attached it to Japan to make it this expensive product. Because sushi is very cheap to make.
And it's because
it's so expensive, especially in other countries, even in Japan, to be honest. So it's depending on where they're sourcing ingredients. I
mean, it's funny. Like you'll see lots of it in Suzuki Fish Market because that's where the tourists go.
Yeah.
Like it's all sushi stalls.
Yeah.
And it's all tourists that are there.
I think it's if those are like oshale place, like elegant places, then that's nice where they serve it to you, like each individual one, for example, and they tell you about it.
Yeah,
that's worthwhile to do. I think.
No, definitely.
There's sushi conveyor belt places there, but I hate sushi. I hate sushi. My first job was in a sushi restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was 17, and it's because I moved out of home, and it was first job. Yeah. And I didn't have any money. So I ate at the restaurant every day for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Yeah. So I had sushi 3 times a day for a year.
It'll be over.
So that's why, it's not that it tastes bad. I'm sick of it. Tired.
Last sort of question is, how is the teaching of ramen to international students deepened in your anticipation of Japanese cuisine culture?
What I enjoy about my class, another I'd say a bonus point for our class that differs from others, is because I am fluent in Japanese. And I think that helps because I do enjoy talking about Japan and I express it to people. I need to express it more because I remember there was a customer. I asked sometimes why did you book us? And he was like, I was undecided as to book you or a guy that was Japanese, but you make all the broths from the beginning, like 2 broths. So that's why he was asking us to come. But then he was like, but I wanted the Japanese place. And then I was like, I'm Japanese though, man. Once again, I'm Japanese. But that's why I think, it's really nice. That's why I like doing more things. Like when we do our events, for example, we incorporate like the nagashi somen. Nagashi somen is like the bamboo slides. Running water, you just drop the noodles and pick them up. That's a very cultural thing in Japan. Like every summer holiday in the countryside, that's something that you do as a family. So you come to a place like this, for example, chop down some bamboo, make the thing with your family, and the kids love it. So that's why I know it's just like making noodles and making ramen, for example, but just being able to express ourselves and be able to talk in Japanese in front of our customers and tell them about Japan and usually corrects their translations.
I mean, I know that it's I have a few friends that have tried to open up businesses in Japan and really if you do try and open up restaurants or businesses there, you have to speak Japanese. There's no other way around it. It's something that I think, which I think is good. It forces you as a foreigner to push yourself to be able to speak. I mean, it's a shame here in Bali. I would say probably 20% of the expats here probably can only speak Indonesian. All the rest can't. And
that much?
Here.
Damn.
There's not. I mean, there's the older ones speak Indonesian, but a lot of people don't bother because it's so westernized.
Yeah, because their English is amazing.
They go out and party with Westerners. They eat with Westerners. They only have a little bit of, if they do work here, a little bit of sort of interaction. But generally, most of them are fashion designers or real estate agents, so they don't actually have to spend 8 hours a day like what we do in the kitchen. We have to speak Indonesian because we spend 8 hours a day with Indonesian staff. It makes it super difficult if we don't speak Indonesian.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Luckily, they all have very good English background.
You probably hear more English than Indonesian.
I mean, even coming to a small little warung like here, the owner here, he himself spoke fluent English. He's worked on cruise ships, etc., and he's come back and basically he came up with these dishes. Ayam bakar, which is basically grilled chicken, and then he also does it with like a roast Peking duck as well. And then we've got bumbu rajan here, which is basically the sort of mother spice of Balinese cuisine. And then you got some sambals, and then of course there's always rice with this as well. So let's tuck in. I'll give you a little bit. So typical Indonesian. There we go. Got a knife and fork.
And fork and spoon.
Fork and spoon.
Because it's going to be that soft.
Yeah.
There you go,
well, thank you. Also, but in Indonesia they don't eat with a knife. Fork and spoon.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. Not chopsticks?
Not chopsticks.
See, look. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Bali.
Have a little bit of the duck and tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with a spooner.
I'll just take your hands and grab it and eat. There you go. Don't be shy. And there's the rice. Okay. And you dip it into some of this spice here. So you just take a little bit of the breast. Here. get the smoky aroma out of it.
It's very juicy. Very juicy. And it's obviously cooled down a bit now. It still retains that much.
Everything is generally served at room temperature, except for rice, it's served hot. So that's what heats everything up. So if you go to one of the warungs, etc., you have all the curries laid out, but it's not hot. The curries are served warm, and you put it over hot rice.
Oh, I see.
And so this is the ayam merah, which is basically not kind of chicken cooked in chili. It's basically an old boiler. And then you can try this sambal here.
Oh, that is good. That is very, very good.
Yeah, I see. Well, listen, thank you for coming. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us in Bali.
Thank you. I've learned more about Bali in the last 15 minutes than the last 24 hours. So thank you for this, man. This has been great.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much.